Okay. So the Mountain is You is something that helps you deal with self-sabotage, resistance, and things like that. One thing that a lot of people don't understand about your brain is as soon as you start doing something different, okay, here come the controversies. Here come you about to run into a lot of brick walls, I'm gonna say. And if you don't know how to handle those things, a lot of people just quit for real. Like if they're not understanding, self-sabotage and why you're self-sabotaging. Most of the time, you're only self-sabotaging because your brain knows that you're about to do something better and do something different. And it is going to try to keep you in the same space. Our brains aren't really built for you. They're not built for success. They're built for survival. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
yeah, that success part, it doesn't really fare too well with that brain. And y'all, this job that we, in this market, you're using your brain 90% your brain. You know what I'm saying? The other 10% is just a strategy. Well, I'm about to get ready to share these charts here in a second, but for the most part, 90% of everything that we do here is gonna be mental. It is. It's gonna be whether or not you can accept losses. It's gonna be whether or not you can accept wins without going crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like if we're trading in the same room and we're sitting across from each other, you shouldn't be able to tell whether I'm winning or losing. All right. Like emotions, yeah, they matter here. I don't know if they ever matter in real life, but they matter here. They really do. They kind of take over everything that you do here. And so, like, anytime that you're having like a bad day, Bernard, you're into it with your wife, or Fee, you into it with somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, you really
Yeah.
can't come in here and be like, well, let me just trade the market. Hell no. Like how you feel matters. Yeah, how you feel matters, y'all. So you got to be careful, and especially in the mornings, like right before you get on that market, don't let nobody piss you off. If you do, decide to just take that day off for real. Um, and we be thinking, I'm gonna just go in here and trade just a little bit. Nah, you about to tear some shit up if you do that. Yeah, and it's so crazy. It really just depends on how you feel most of the time. And so, like for me, I always feel good. Like I don't give a shit if the worst shit in my life is happening. You wouldn't be able to tell for real. You wouldn't like. You would be looking at me like, oh, she got it all the way together, not knowing I'm like one little crash out away from just ending it all. You know what I'm saying? And it's just because you can't tell. Yeah, I don't, you know what I'm saying? You can't tell. I understand, the law of polarity, there's always going to be good with bad. And so if you're going to accept the good, you got to accept the bad that comes with it. But yeah, that self-sabotage and the mountain is you, Brianna Weiss, kind of talk you through how to stop self-sabotaging. I think that that is the number one thing that people do in this market that keep them unsuccessful for real. If you ask me, like, why do everybody lose here? Because there is a 95% loss rate. It's because of self-sabotage usually. Yeah. And so what happens is you're just kind of, and a lot of us just grew up, in a hood. A lot of us grew up with a lot of, poor programming. And honestly, that poor programming, it shows here. It shows here. It shows that you're not really able or capable enough to just snatch millions of dollars and actually hold on to it. Like it doesn't work like that. So as soon as you can get yourself kind of vibrating at that, level where you're okay snatching money from this market, and you'll be good for real. Like you honestly don't need to know anything else. Like I'm not even gonna lie. People put a lot of emphasis on these charts. They do, and I get it because when new people first come in, the first thing they want to do is be right about direction. The first thing they want to do is win every trade. You know what I'm saying? And it doesn't work that way, y'all. It don't work that way at all. You're gonna lose here, and you're gonna lose here a whole freaking lot, and that's why people can't. Hold on one second, y'all. All right, y'all. Um, understand. I need everybody to understand whenever you first start here that don't follow the rest of the world. Like do not think that these charts are going to be um you know uh end all be all for you. Like it's not like, even if you learn the chart out, and I promise you, trading really depends on your vibration. Not even gonna lie, it depends on your vibration. Even if you learn these charts and you're vibrating with a poor mindset and things like that, you'll never be able to take this money. And I know it sounds crazy, but it's 100% real. As soon as you go to press that button, you're gonna be like, your mindset is gonna be like, hey, what are we doing? We don't, we don't make millions. You know what I'm saying? What are you doing? And so is gonna force you out of there, or it's gonna force you to push the wrong button, or even if you get in the right trade, it's gonna force you out of there because you're just not gonna believe that you're worthy enough for this. So belief is the number one thing here that you really, really got to get a good handle on. You gotta believe that you can do this more than anything else, because I promise you, the first thing that the market is gonna do is make you feel like you can't do this, because it's just gonna make you lose over and over and over. Anything that you do repeatedly, you become better at it, right? And so unfortunately in
Hmm.
this market, yeah, being a loser, you know what I'm saying, you got to be a really, really good loser here in order to be good at the market, to be a winner here. And unfortunately, any way to become good at something is to do it repetitively, and I promise you, it's going to give you so many losses, you're going to be like, I don't know what the hell going on, you know what I'm saying, you're going to be like, screw her in this market, I'm done. Like, you're gonna want to quit. Like, I don't quit like a million times, no bullshit, then I'll be like, oh damn, I got students, I got to get back in, it's rough. It's rough. The market is rough. But I promise you, the only reason that it really is rough is still the law of polarity, where everything has an equal opposite. The market gives you everything that you want. You have the freedom that you want to be able to do as you please. Yeah, I work from 9:30 to 11:30. After that, I don't look at this market. I don't come back in here. I actually until the next day. I don't really come back in here until the next day most of the time. So I just don't let it stress me out at this point. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just start real. Since that guy didn't show up. Fee, I know you at the digital course, so I know you understand these candles. And Bernard, I know you were here last week, so I know you understand just a little bit, but I'm gonna go over the candles just a little bit. I hate kind of jumping
Hmm.
straight into like structure and things like that when you're like, what the hell are candles doing, right? And so I'm gonna remove those moving averages so I can clean this chart up just a little bit over to the left. And then we're just gonna go over, and this today was a super easy day. The market is in a downtrend. So before I even start, I just want to show y'all how this market is in a downtrend, right? And so what I mean when I say it's in a downtrend, all it's doing is making that's a high right there, and that's a low. Uh-oh. That's a low right there. We got a lower high right back at that trend line right there, right here, where it pulled back. And then we got a lower low down here, right? And then we got another lower high right back at that same trend line. And then another lower low away from that trend line, right? So this is the trend line fee. We didn't trade today. And so I had sent everybody an email today letting them know. It was an email of this screen right here saying, hey, this market is in a downtrend, right? All that means, y'all, is if we were to come right here and retest that market and fall back down, then we would have been shooting for another lower low. And so for that, today, that actually didn't happen, right? And so what happened was we actually broke this level, right? We broke this trend line right here, and now the move is to the upside. Y'all, it's only two directions for real. That's why I say don't put a lot of emphasis on these charts for real. There's only two goddamn directions. It's either gonna go up or down, right? Here's
Okay.
the best part about the market. Usually, even if you go down, let's say you're like, oh, okay, the market looks like it's getting ready to go down right here, right? Even if that's the case and you're wrong and it goes up on you, that's okay. It hit your stop, but just take it up. You know what I'm saying? Like turn that goddamn thing around. It's only two directions. It's really easy to just reverse that position. But it's something about reversing that position that it's something about reversing that position that if you do it right away, right after you take a loss, it's gonna look like you're revenge trading, or it's gonna feel like you're revenge trading. Like it's gonna feel like you're just like, I lost. Let me get back in. Let me get back in. Let me
Mhm.
get back in. And that's where people mess up at. But in a case like this, again, when that market is in a downtrend like that, perfectly, trending to the downside, it is very, very easy to see this up move. You know what I'm saying? Because again, this trend line, I'm gonna make this trend line blue coming down. But this trend line that's coming down right here, that is the trend of the market. Anytime the market is in a downtrend, you want to sell at the trend line. All right. And so what I mean by selling at the trend line is right here. You want to sell at the trend line, sell high, buy low. Back at the trend line, you can sell high, buy low. Back at the trend line, you can sell high, buy low, back at the trend line. In this case, you wouldn't have been able to do that, right? So even if you would have sold right here, it would have taken you out once it turned around on you. But once it turned around on you, and now that you see it breaking off of this level right here, this blue trend line, now you got a trade to the upside. So now you can buy low and then sell high. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. Do you
Yeah.
make sense?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. So y'all, the market literally just moves in the same, like it moves in the same repeatable patterns over and over, right? So I'm gonna just use just this little bit of little space right here for the last few days. It moves in the same repeatable patterns. So the market is either, let me actually go to the whiteboard. It is either making higher highs, higher lows. My whiteboard. It's either making higher highs, higher lows, or it's making lower lows, lower highs, or it's going sideways. So let me just show you what I mean. All right, get my little pen here. All right. So y'all, when the market is in an uptrend, it'll make a high, it'll pull it back for a low, it'll pull it back for a higher high, it'll pull it back for a higher low, it'll pull up for a higher high. That is how the market moves in an uptrend, all right? And so you'll see the price come up here, and then all of a sudden we'll have a move straight to the downside. It'll stop like maybe halfway down or somewhere, and then when we make that next high, it's gonna break this high right here. Okay. So that's how you know we're headed towards that next high when this high right here gets taken out. Okay. So now we have another high here. All right. So once we get that high there, the market is going to retrace again because what you'll have is people taking profits, right? So anybody who buy right here, they're going to start taking profits around here, right? Which is going to make that market fall down, right? It's going to make that price drop. So when that price drops, y'all, it usually comes down to the top of this level right here. In the market, support turns into resistance and resistance turns into support. So for this level right here, when the price is coming up into that level, it's going to act as an area of resistance. So always look at resistance as a ceiling, right? That means that the price came up, it bumped into that ceiling, it couldn't go anymore, right? That's where the sellers are going to come in at, and they're going to start pushing that market back down. And then they'll push it back down to a level of support. Okay. So support is like a floor where that's what all the buyers are going to come in at. So when you're trading this market, this is why I don't watch the news. This is why I don't keep up with any of that extra shit going on in this country. Is because if you understand these patterns here, then you can literally just go off of pattern recognition. You know what I'm saying? If you understand that this thing is just making higher highs and higher lows, all you have to do is figure out where we're at on the chart. Okay. And the fact that these are real people, trading this market, all you're doing is trying to figure out where they're at. Right. And so you want to know where the buyers are likely to come in at, because wherever they're likely to come in at, that's where the market is likely to jump at. Right. And wherever the sellers are likely to come in at, that's when the market is likely to fall. So support and resistance is super, super important here. It's literally I only use about 4 or 5 different things in this market. Support and resistance is one of them I use every single day of the week. The market runs into these areas of support and resistance, and they react at those areas. So let me just go ahead and delete this real quick. And then I want to show you a downtrend. So if the market is trending down like it is right now, what you're going to see is a low. You're going to see a lower high. You're going to see a lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, until we break out of that. Once we break out of that, then that trend is no longer valid, just like we did today. So this was the trend to the downside, right? You're always able to put a trend line on it when it's trending because it's following the same kind of metrics or whatnot. And again, whenever that thing is in a downtrend, you want to sell high, buy low, sell high, buy low, sell high, and buy low. Now, when we get back to here, this trend line, you notice how we broke straight through this time, right? It's like we did today. We're not selling high, buying low here. In that case, we got to wait for it to go to this side of the trend line. And then this side of the trend line is going to become support. So it's resistance over here when the price is below the trend line. If that price reaches above that trend line and comes back and retests that trend line, it's going to retest it as support. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
See,
Yeah.
that makes sense? Okay.
Yep.
All
That
right.
makes sense.
So Yeah, so that's when the market is in a downtrend. So when the market is in a downtrend, again, you only want to sell. And the reason that you only want to sell is because, I mean, I ain't gonna say you only want to sell. I'm not gonna say that. As a day trader, you can do either. You can do either, right? And let me show you what I mean when I say that. Let me just go ahead and clear this up real quick, and I'm gonna draw that downtrend one more time. I want to show you what I mean when I say you can do either. Because you'll hear a lot of people say, "Oh, follow the trend, follow the trend. The trend is your friend. The trend is your friend," right? And that's fine if you're like
Hmm.
swing trading and you're holding these trades for like 2 weeks. You definitely want to follow the trend, because if not, you're gonna be in that wrong direction real ugly, right? But as a day trader, you don't have to. I mean, you do want to follow the trend, but it just depends on where the price is. And so let me make sure. And if y'all don't understand what I'm saying, stop me and be like, "Hold on, I don't get it," because it could get a little confusing. So let's say the market opens up, right? And it opens up here. It is very likely that we're going to have a down day, right? And so for 5 minutes, every candle, every candle, every candle, we're going to be shooting down because we're looking for that lower low, right? But let's say that we're already at the lower low. And then price opens up here. You see what I'm saying? If price opens up down here, then even if this is in a downtrend, then you're able to take this trade to the upside. Does that make sense?
Right.
Yeah, but you got to know that that trend line is about as far as you're gonna go.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you back up here. Say the next day, the market is up here. It opens up 9:30 in the morning and we're at the trend line, right? It is very, very likely that we're falling down and we're going to make that
Mm.
lower low. Yeah. And then again, that next day we'll open up down here. And see, that's how they keep you guessing, because like I said, most people are kind of like one track minded where they're like, "Oh, the market's in a downtrend. They got to be going down." Yeah, that is the case. But where is it opening at? You know what I'm saying? Because if we're already at the low, we ain't got nowhere to go but up.
True. True.
Hmm.
Yeah. So if we're at the low, we
Hmm.
can take it up back to that trend line. We can sell that back down here. We could buy down here, take that back up to the trend line and sell at the trend line. All right. So that is a downtrend. That's how the market looks when it's moving down. Again, that's what it's looking like right now. It just broke out today. Now, the next movement that we have in the market is called a consolidating market. Now, this is where you're gonna lose all your money at. I'm gonna tell you right now. This is where you're gonna lose all of your coins. Like, it never fails. It never fails. The reason why is because it looks like it's going up and then it's going down, and then it looks like it's going back up and then it's going back down. It literally is just up and down on you, up and down on you. And it's really choppy. And so we usually, feel like a choppy market is a sloppy market. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to lose your money.
Hmm.
Yeah. The reason that this happens is because the banks, when they're buying and selling, they can't buy and sell without tricking a few of us up out of our positions first, right? So what'll happen in a consolidating market is, for one, I like to stay out of consolidating markets, and I'm about to show you how you can tell that the market is consolidating, because there are ways to tell. That way, you're not just guessing. So in a consolidating market, you almost just want to stay out of here. Now, if you could become really, really good at trading from resistance back down to support, back up to resistance, back down to support, y'all, it's usually going to stop in the same area. So like, price is over here to the right, right? So let's say this price right here is, just say $10. Let's say this Apple. And this price at this low was over here at $10, right? And then let's say Apple at the high is at $15. And so basically you can catch those $5 in between. You know what I'm saying? So if you're like, "Oh, well, we're back at this area of support," it's very likely there are going to be enough buyers that comes into this market that pushes this market up. So let me just go ahead and take it up to the $15 mark. Once you get to that $15 mark, you can get out and get back in, take that down and get back out at that $10 mark. So some people like to oscillate that market and trade it in between support and resistance. I don't. If the moving averages are going straight through price, what I'll usually do is sometimes I'll take one trade and attempt to take it from support to resistance. If it don't work out, I'm done. And that's because I already know I ain't good at it. You know what I'm saying? And maybe it's
Mm-hmm.
just me. Yeah, maybe it's just me. Like, I ain't good at it. I'm used to just not trading it at all. Because here in the market, what you're gonna have is you're gonna have really easy days. Like, today was a really easy day, and then you're gonna have super complicated days. This is a super complicated day, and it just makes more sense not to stress yourself out.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like we make
Yeah.
enough money in this market on the days that are easy, where you ain't got to touch the bad days. But it's like,
True.
Yeah, most people so greedy where they're like, shit, I got to be here every day. And that is what keeps you losing. You know what I'm saying? This is going to require a ton of discipline where you're like, that don't look good. I'm going to go ahead and call it, right? I'm not even going to get
Mm,
in that market today and put a goddamn
Mm-hmm.
movie on instead. You know what I'm saying? So
mm-hmm.
you got to be able to make those calls. Yeah, you got to be able to make those calls. So remember that every day, y'all. And I mean this statement, I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It took me a long, long time to understand this and not really understand it, but abide by the shit anyway. Every day ain't a trading day. Every day is not a trading day. If the market look good and you're like, you know what, this look like a good tradable day, like today, you know what I'm saying? We're right at the trend line. So when I sent the screenshots out, I'm like, all right, y'all, if we respect this trend, you take that down. If this starts bouncing on the other side of that trend line, you take this up. And I'm gonna really see how many people did it tomorrow because I already got some people complaining. Yeah, like why you leave us by ourselves, you know? And it's like, shit, this is an independent game. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes you gotta be alone, and you gotta be able to, fend for yourself here. But so what's happening in this situation right here, though, just so you'll know, when that market is consolidating, like I said, the banks cannot just get in the market with all of the contracts that they're trying to get in with. So let's say they're trying to buy 100,000 contracts at an S&P right here, right? They need 100,000 people on the other end of that trade that's going to be willing to get that market, that their contracts up, right? So they can't buy something that ain't for sale. You see what I'm saying? So if they're
Mm,
trying to buy 100,000 contracts and they only got 50,000 contracts that's sitting there, they're gonna be like, all right, that's cool. We'll take the 50, right? And so they'll get in right here with the 50, right? So they'll buy 50K right here at this level right here, right? But then they wanted, let's say 150K. They wanted 150,000 contracts, right? They'll buy 50 here, let that market go back up, let it come back down, buy another 50 here.
mm.
Yeah. And then they'll let it go back up, they'll let it come back down, and then they'll buy another 50 here. All right. So this is just the bank sneaking their orders in because, like I said, if they come in with all of those orders at once, for one, it'll tilt that market in the wrong direction. You know what I'm saying? Real fast to where they can't even get a good play on that. And so they have to sneak their orders in slowly and surely. And they already do it when this thing is consolidating like this. Like I said, they already know that the majority of people are impatient. So they already know, with this consolidation, it's going to be a lot of people giving those positions up just because you thought this thing was going up and bam, right back to the downside. And as soon as it comes back down, here's another thing too. Let's say you were getting in this market right here, right at this area right here. What's going to happen is your stop loss is going to be right up under you, right? Just in case you're wrong, just in case you're wrong, right? But
Mm-hmm.
notice how when they come back down, oh, they're going to run that stop. They're going to run right into your stop loss. They can see our stop losses too. Let me put that out there.
Mm.
Yeah, so they can see the liquidity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's an unfair advantage. I know it is because we can't see it. It's something called level three, where they can see it literally where we're sitting at. So, like, if they come in and they like, all right, let's take this market up right here, right? And if they're only able to get 50 grand or 50,000 contracts in there, they're gonna run it right back down, run straight into your stop loss. That way, it has no choice but to activate your trade and give it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yep.
Mm.
Yep. So when they hit your stop, it
Jeez.
automatically gives your trade up to them.
Damn.
Yeah, yeah. So then they'll run it
Dang.
back up. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, I hate it. Like the market is it's just full of manipulation. But the best part about it is if you learn the manipulation, you learn to stay the hell away from
Right,
it.
right, right, right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
hmm
Mm-hmm.
And then what they'll do again is they'll be like, all right, we ain't gonna take this out yet, right? They're gonna run that right back down, right? And be like, let's go and try to get another 50. They're gonna run into the rest of the stop losses, right? Because maybe some people survived over here and didn't get hit. And then you ain't gonna survive this one though. You know what I'm saying? And so once you get over here,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're gonna take you right on out. And then when they do that, y'all, that's when it breaks out. So that's when it breaks out and start making higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. And then now they're dumping this shit off that they just bought down here.
Mm.
I know this messy, but yeah, that's how they do. It's just a game of manipulation. So let me just go ahead and go back to the chart real quick and show you what I mean, like where this is actually in a downtrend, so we don't have any consolidation right here. But let me show you. All right. Now, in this case right here, even if the market is in a downtrend like this, you'll still have the banks. They'll be buying well, no, they won't. Not with a downtrend. I'm sorry, not in a downtrend. All right. So let me see if I can find another trend in this market where you can see maybe some consolidation. Give me just a second. Let me go back a little bit. And then I'll find an uptrend for you guys to see. So you'll see exactly what that looks like and show you how to put a trend line on that stuff. So let me go back. All right. So I would say like right here is a consolidating market. And so like if you could put a trend line at the high like that and then come down here and put a trend line at the low like that, then this market is consolidating. So if this market was open and you're trying to trade this, it's gonna be kind of sloppy. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to trying to trade this where it's straight down.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So when it's going left and right like that and up and down, then you want to stay away from it. So if you could take a price level and you can put a price level to that price and it's hitting that price in multiple areas, then that's sloppy. That's choppy. That's
Mm.
sloppy. Don't even touch it. You know what I'm saying? If you can get away without touching it, don't touch it. And what's going to happen is we're going to break out of this rectangle at some point. You know what I'm saying? And we're either going to break to the upside or break to the downside. And either way, you got yourself a move. We break down, shit. 9 times out of 10, we going down. You know what I'm saying? If they
Mm-hmm.
fake you out, you can just take the L and turn that shit around. You know what I'm saying? Because they are going to fake you out quite a bit. Like that's something that they do, all the time. They fake you out quite a bit. That's why everybody like, oh, the market is scam and this and the other. It feel like one for real when you come here and it's hard to win. It feels like one. Um, but I want to show you, hold on, the strategy that we use to get into this market. So, reading this market, knowing how to read market structure, it makes it easy to tell what the next move is. You know what I'm saying? But I understand that it takes a minute to read market structure. I think I was in here for about 6 months and really just couldn't read this for real. And after like 6 months, it just started making sense a little bit. And so,
Mm.
yeah, but without being able to read market structure, there's other ways to be able to get in this market. And so I want to show you one of the ways to be able to get in this market, even if you can't read market structure. And so let me just go ahead and start at the open here. And I try to make it super, super easy, y'all. Now, mind you, I'm going to tell you something. The strategies that we have in this market, they're only going to work about 70% of the time, right? That other
Mm-hmm.
30% of the time, this shit ain't going to work, y'all. Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. If you're in here and you're just taking random trades, you don't know what the hell about to work and what ain't. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what those numbers about to look like. You don't know any of that information. You know what I'm saying? You're literally just in here flying blind and praying and hoping for the best, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when you have a
Mm-hmm.
strategy that wins 70% of the time, let me go back to this whiteboard real quick before I go to that strategy. When you have a strategy that wins 70% of the time, hold on. Then I'm gonna do some math. Mind you, here you have to look at yourself like you're the casino, right? Most casinos have a 4.5%, 5% edge over the players, right? And so what that means is every single person that comes into the casino, whether they win, lose, or draw, it is Oh, it doesn't matter. The casino still has a 4.5% edge over every dollar that's being played. So, like, the casino owners aren't in the back, like, oh, Lord, we losing. Somebody just won 25,000 on the table. They don't care. You know what I'm saying? They don't because they understand that whether win, lose, or draw, they still got an edge at the end of the day. And that bottom line at the end of the year is going to work out. That's how it is as a trader, y'all. So, I want to show you what I mean when I say that. And because I know that one of the hardest things for people when they first come into this market is losing. People do not like to lose for real, for real. They be like, we got to win. And it's like, no, you don't. You know what I'm saying?
No.
You have to become good at losing for real because those winners are easy and they just come and you can win as much as you want to win. But those losers, if you don't control those, they'll come wipe everything right back out. All right, so now mind you, I just said that the strategy that we use has about a 70% win rate on it. But let's just do a 50%, right? 50% win rate. And let's say every single trade is $500 to the plus side. All right. Every winning trade, every loser is 125. Let's say 150. Every loser is 150 and every winner is 500. All right. And so let's say we have a 50% win rate, right? And so out of 100 trades, let's say we take 100 trades, 50 of them win, right? So the 50 that win, you're winning $500 times 50 times, right? So 500 times 50, that's 25,000, right? So that is what you're winning on the upside. Now, mind you, when you have losses in this market, yeah, I need you to look at them like they're just expenses, right? Only because trading is the only company in the world, the only business in the world that do not have any expenses that comes with it. Just think about like Apple, right? Apple got a ton of expenses. You know, they got to pay employees, they got brick and mortars, they have materials, they got people making these phones. You know what I'm saying? They got a ton of expenses, and so every single dollar that's spent at Apple is not going in the CEO's pocket. You know what I'm saying? It's not. And
Yeah.
so, you got to look at it like that too when it comes to trading, because trading is literally the only business, y'all. Like, I don't have any expenses. You hear me? I do have an assistant though. You know, I do, and he a little pricey. So other than that, you know what I'm saying? And that's just because I don't like working for real. You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather pay his ass. And so, other than that, hey Anthony, what you say, Fee?
No, I was laughing at you.
Yeah, like other than that, y'all ain't no expenses here for real. Like, we don't got no overhead. Like, literally, if you think about it, when you first start trading, everything that you make is really yours. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got to pay your rent or your mortgage, you would have had to pay that without trading. You know what I'm saying? So trading
Yep.
didn't bring that. Yeah. And so there
Yeah.
are no expenses here. And so whenever you take L's here, whenever you take losses here, it makes more sense to look at that as if they're just expenses for your business. And I'm going to tell you why. We're not built for loss. You know what I'm saying? That brain goes freaking crazy. It crashes out after loss. You know what I'm saying? Just imagine when
Hmm.
you lose a person, money, anything that's, important to you, like you don't feel good. You don't feel good. And here, if you don't feel good, you don't make good decisions. All right. So look at those losses like they're just expenses for your business. So like I'm telling you, I used to take like a $200 loss and be like, all right, that's the company's phone bill. And then I crash out a little bit and lose like 13, like, oh shit, that's the mortgage. You know what I'm saying? And so you gotta be careful on those crash outs, y'all, because they real. All right. So let's say that you got a 50% win rate, right? And that's all you need for real. Honestly, you can do this shit with a 30% win rate, which means you're losing 70% of your trades, right? But for this, instance right here, we're going to be winning $500 per trade, and then every trade that we lose, we're going to be losing $150, right? So if you do $150 times 50, then your expenses for your business is what's that, 7,500. All right, so $7,500 are your expenses, 25,000 is your profit for your business, and then the difference is yours, right? So you got 25,000. You would think I'll be able to do that math in my head. That's 17,500. Like, I've been a tax preparer for like 25 years, but nope, I can't do it. I don't work with little numbers for real. Like, they really stress me out. All right, so 17.5. So 17.5 is your actual profit, y'all. And this is only winning half the time. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say you gotta be okay losing here. You gotta understand that it's part of the game. And that is where they get people, because people, we don't like to lose. We just don't. Like, I've been an athlete. Fee, you used to play basketball. Girl, you
Yeah.
wanna win. You know what I'm saying?
All the time.
Yeah. Huh?
I said all the time.
Yes, yes, we've been trained to win, y'all. And so for that reason, trying to untrain that shit and be like, you gotta lose a little bit. You're gonna be like, what? That brain gonna be like, huh? Who the fuck you think about to lose? Not me. And that's what you're gonna struggle with the most, y'all. I hated losing. I hated it. And it's so crazy because even though I understood the game, I understood that in order to win, I gotta lose. I still didn't want to lose here. Like, every time I lost, I crashed out. And so you got to control yourself in that area and understand you got to treat yourself like a casino owner. Again, they don't care who win, lose, or draw. They don't. They know that they have an edge, and you got to know that you have one too. All right. So let's say you did this and you had 5 accounts, right? Because most of the companies that we get this money from, they'll allow you to have up to 5 accounts, right? So now you got 17,000 as your profit, and then you can multiply that by 5 just because, you know what I'm saying? You can have multiple accounts. So 17,500, that's 87,000. And if you, yeah, you see what I'm saying? And that's just because you have multiple
Mhm.
accounts. So be okay losing here. It is definitely one of those things you got to get used to. It ain't gonna just come natural. I promise you it won't. Let me go ahead and stop this real quick. All right, let me get back to that chart. All right, strategy, y'all. I hope y'all have something to write with. But it's 3 things. It's only 3 things in this market that you gotta have to be successful here. Um, one of them is a winning strategy. All right, one of them is a good strategy. The reason that you have to have a good strategy is because you at least want to win 50% of the time, right? We just did the numbers on 50%. That's only half the time. The other half you could totally lose and still be fine. So you got to have a good strategy, one that puts you in this market at least 50% of the time the right way. Okay, so a good strategy is really, really important. The second thing that you have to have in order to do this the right way and be successful here is a good risk to reward. Like you have to like be a really, really good risk manager here. Like you cannot just be jumping in and out of this market, putting your capital up, for grabs every 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? Like you really got to have a good reason to be in here or you should not be in here. All right.
Mhm.
So let me show you the strategy that I use, y'all. And the strategy is pretty easy. And the third thing before I even show you the strategy is that psychology that we were just talking about at the beginning, where you got to be vibrating on a level where you're like, this is my money. You know what I'm saying? Let me go take this money. And I know a lot of y'all, I see people straight out of jail coming here and just steal this money like it's nobody's business. And then somebody, yeah, like somebody that's straight out of college, they're like, oh, I'm super smart and this and the other, and they're struggling. It's like, what is going on here? Yeah, so yeah, you almost gotta have like a criminal type mentality here where you're like, and thank God, like for me, I've been a tax preparer for a really, really long time. And I ain't gonna lie, shit, we don't pay no taxes over here. You know what I'm saying? So we've been, stealing from the government for 25 years. So it makes it a little easier for me to come in here and just steal the money out the stock market. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I've been still living the
Mhm.
taxes for the IRS for a minute now. You know what I'm saying? And I'm telling you, I done saved the hood millions and millions of dollars. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't proud of it, but I have. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, shit, we ain't paying no taxes around here. They take enough. So it's like, nah, we ain't playing that game. But yeah, you got to have almost a criminal type mindset here. You can't be like super nice and, just, oh, everybody, everything is peaches and cream and butterflies. No, like the market will run over you if you have that type of mentality. Like you got to be rough and like tough with your Afro puffs around here. Um, so I'll make it super, super easy when it comes to this strategy. Y'all, if you learn this strategy and you just follow this strategy and understand this, which is going to take a minute, then you can put yourself in this market the right way the majority of the time. And then even if you don't put yourself in a market the right way, again, take the L, you know what I'm saying? Take the L, don't crash out and reverse that damn position. You got to think about it. If it ain't going up, it's probably going down. If it ain't going down, it's probably going up. So if you took the wrong direction, all you got to do is really reverse that position for real. And so I want to show y'all this strategy here. And I'm gonna put these moving averages back and I'll explain those moving averages here in just a minute. This red moving average right here, this line that's going through price, it is called the 13 moving average. What it's doing is it's taking the last 13 candles and it's giving you an average of where price was, right? And so this is where the actual level is, an average of where price was 13 candles ago. The market makes the same repeatable patterns over and over and over and over, right? And so that's why it's easy to look at these moving averages and kind of tell where this market is about to go. This yellow one down here, I call this yellow one Big Daddy because Big Daddy kind of control all this shit for real. Like wherever Big
Mm.
Daddy is, he telling you what's happening for real. You just got to understand what it's saying. Um, Whenever you had a red one on top and a yellow one at the bottom like that, it's usually an up move. It's usually an up move. And I say usually because nothing in this market is 100%. You'll never ever hear me be like always and never. No, I'll never use words like that here only because this shit's so uncertain and all over the place, y'all. You can never be sure about what's about to happen.
Mm.
Yeah. And so all I do, y'all, when I come in here, the first thing I do is I look at these moving averages, right? And so I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna look at the moving averages and I'm looking to see if they crossed, right? Now, mind you, you see how these moving averages cross right here?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
When they cross right here, y'all, it makes it a really easy day for real. It's an easy day. Like you want to see these moving averages kind of cross right where that market is getting ready to open up at. Because if you can kind of understand this a little bit, it make a lot of sense. Whenever these cross like this, the reason I call the yellow one Big Daddy is because whenever these two moving averages cross, and again, the red one cross on top of the yellow one, that's giving a bullish indication. It's telling us that it's very likely that this market is getting ready to go up. So that's the very first thing that tells you direction of this market. Before that market even opens up, it gives you direction. Now, here's the thing about the moving averages. They don't give you the first move most of the time. Most of the time, they'll give you the second move or whatever. So what I mean by that is this: they crossed right here, right? And so I already know when I see this red one crossing over this yellow one, I'm like, all right, that's a bullish move, right? We're looking for a bullish move. And in order to get that bullish move, y'all, all we need is the market to pull back to the 200. That's it. Right there, it pulled back to the 200 as soon as it opened. This gray shaded area over here is the pre-market. This is when the market is closed. This black area right here is regular market. It is when the market is open. All right. So all we got to do is sit and wait, right? We already know that the moving averages just crossed, right? Where that market is getting ready to open up at, right? We already know this market is in a downtrend, right? And how do we know that? We know that because if we look over here, the market got a high over here and we got a low right here. Whenever we get that lower high, y'all, all that means is that this high right here is lower than this high right here. That's what that means. And then you're looking for a lower low, all the way down here. All that means is that this low right here is lower than this low over here. You see what I'm saying? So it's making the same repeatable pattern. It's over and over. You got your lower high is lower than this high right here. Your lower low down here is lower than this low right here. That's it. And then bam, we're right back at the trend line, right? So we're looking for that lower high right there, right? All you got to do is be goddamn patient for real. And I mean that. When I say patience is literally the ticket out of that 9 to 5. It is that ticket out of some shit you don't want to do for real. Patience is key here, y'all. I'm telling you. I was the most impatient person. I think that I'm telling you, I don't ran people over with cars and all my exes for real. Like y'all should have been in jail a long time ago. You hear me? For real. Like I literally didn't have a lick of patience, and that's how I know anybody can do this for real because I sucked here. I really did. I didn't have a lick of patience. I didn't have any discipline. I didn't have no consistency. I didn't have any of that shit. I just had a want for some money and I was greedy. And that's how I started my journey off. So again, right here, we're looking for that lower high, right? Just because we're in that trend, right? And that trend is continuing and it's doing the same thing. So we know that once we get back to this trend line, we're either going to make that low coming down and make us a lower low, or we're going to bounce off this trend line and then start a new trend, right? And so in this case, all we had to do is be patient enough to bounce, right? And again, once we see these moving averages cross like this, all you got to do is say, all right, so the 200 is at the bottom, the 13 is at the top. Why won't let me do nothing? The 13 is at the top. So basically, all we got to do is wait for the market to pull back to the 200. Very first candle pull back on the 200. The second candle was on the 200. This candle was on the 200. This candle broke out. So today, all you had to do was wait 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 20 minutes, you could have been in there like swimwear, and that market went up the whole rest of the day. Came down at the end. All right, and so let me just do the math on here. Let me show you how to do the math. This is the ES right here that we're on. The ES is the S&P 500. So if you've ever traded the S&P like in the stock market, in an options market, that's what the ES is in the futures market. So this is the futures market that we're looking at right here. And so let me show you how to calculate this. So let's say you were to get in right here. Let me open this up. Let's say you saw this candle pop up to the upside today and you're like, ooh, I want to get in right here to the upside, right? What you want to do is you want to put your stop loss under the next white candle. So look to the left. Looking left in the market is like one of the biggest things, y'all. Like get familiar with it. You have to look to the left only because people are really predictable. They do the same shit over and over. You know what I'm saying? And so if you look left and you see what somebody did to the left, then you can pretty much tell what's about to happen here. So again, if we look to the left right here, we see that the moving averages just crossed, giving us a bullish indication. All we need is the price to pull back to the 200 and bounce off of it. We got that 200 bounce and bam, we're right up right here, right? So let's say you got in right here. The price is over there to the right at 68.08. In order to make $1,000 off of one ES contract, all you need is 20 points. And so 68.08 is going to be your entry. You can stick your stop below that previous to the left, white candle, right? That's where it's going to be the safest at. If that price pulls back to this candle and takes you out, it's very likely that it's just reversing on you. Usually it won't come back to that candle. All right. So if you're getting in at 68.08, all you need is 68.28 to be able to make $1,000. And 68.28 is right here, y'all. So you literally could have hit that in 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes would have hit that 68.28 for you right here. Yeah, you don't need this thing to move a lot for real. You don't. And, let's say you wanted, to take it all the way up here, right? And you're like, shit, I don't want to get out of there yet. And you're all the way up to 68.56. Let me do the math on that. Let me show you how to do the math on the ES though. But let me do the math on that. 68.56, 56 minus, what's that? 68.08. That's 48 points. It's like almost 3,000. No, almost $2,500. So just for this move here, if you just had one contract, it's a $2,500 move. All right. So I'm gonna show you how to do the calculation on the ES though. So over here on Thinkorswim, if you have Thinkorswim, I know Bernardo said I was gonna walk you through if you wanted to download Charles Schwab. Um,
Yeah.
Yep, you can click on futures right here and then find the futures contract that you want to trade. So if you want to trade the E-mini S&P 500, then here's the information for the E-mini S&P 500 right here.
Mm.
Right here it says tick size is 0.25 and then it says tick value is 12.5. So let me just put that right here on the chart for you. All right. So tick size is 0.25. Let me make that a little bigger for you. Sorry, y'all. I don't got my mouse died, and I ain't never went and got another for real, like another battery. I don't know why I haven't. Let me make this a little bigger. All right, so tick size is 0.25, and then on the ES, the tick value is $12.50. So tick value is $12.50. All right, and I'm gonna make that a little bigger too. I know you're like, what the hell is a tick, right? And so ticks, you can't see the ticks on the screen, so I'm gonna show you how that works. It's a little complicated when you're calculating the ES, but let me know if you don't understand. All right. So when you're dealing in a futures market, and you may have to write this down so you don't forget it, but when you're dealing in a futures market, these prices over here are only going to be in points. All right. They're not going to be in ticks. You don't see the ticks on the screen. They're just in points. Right. So when you're trying to calculate, what a tick, this tick size right here, in order to get an actual number. So, all right. So let's say we're going to get in at 68.08 and let's say we're going to get out at 68.28. Right. That's 20 points. Right. How you get your tick size is you'll take your 20 points and then you want to divide that 20 point by 0.25. All right. So when you divide these points over here that you can see right here on the right, when you divide those points by 0.25, what you get for 20 points is 80. You get 80 ticks, right? So we know that 20 points, so from 68.08 to 68.28, we know that that's 20 points, and we also know that that's 80 ticks, right? Because ticks are 0.25 of the points. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, okay, yeah. So that's how you get your ticks because, like I said, the ticks aren't shown on the screen. So the points are. So just for the ES, you got to be able to convert that over to ticks first. That way you can calculate that. Yeah. And so now that you got the ticks that we need, now that you know that 20 points equals 80 ticks, all you gotta do is take the 80 and multiply that by 12.5. And that's $1,000. And so that's why from here to here is $1,000. Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's only like 10 to 20 minutes. You know what I'm saying? 10, 20 minutes, that would have got hit. You'd have been done for the day.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm taking sometimes we
That
in and out
is.
like 10 minutes, y'all. Yeah. So with this strategy though, y'all, this is how we actually run this strategy here. So let me open that up a little bit. First candle. It's called an ORB. ORB stands for opening range breakout, right? So ORB is opening range breakout. All you got to do is take the very first candle, stick a price level on top of it, take the bottom of that candle, stick a price level at the bottom of it. So that's what these red lines right here are for. I'm gonna move those moving averages out the way because I feel like they blind you a little bit. You can't see price. All right. So this is the very first candle of the day. This candle opened up at 9:30. So when 9:30 rolls around, you're gonna see this candle going up and down a little bit. You don't know whether this candle gonna be bullish or bearish until it actually closes, right? So remember that these bullish candles, they all open at the bottom. They all open down here. So this candle right here opened up at 68.08 and then it closed all the way up here at 68.20. So this candle by itself was 12 points. And you only need 20 to, you know what I'm saying, hit target. Yeah. Yeah. And so when you're trading this, what you want to look for is, like I said, you want to look for a candle outside of this range right here, right? So we got this red level here, we got this red level here. Once the 5-minute candle closes, this candle closed bearish. Once it closes, you place your price level on top and you place your price level at the bottom. Okay. Your only move after this is to sit on those hands and don't do nothing, right? Until we break out of that level. All right. Now, when we break out of that level, you want to break completely out of it, right? You don't want half of the candle in this level, the other half out. Now, I'm going to tell you this. For this day right here, it would have been just easier to get in right here and not waited for this one only because of the trend. You know what I'm saying? Like the fact that we're breaking out of that trend, that would have literally told me, yeah, hell yeah, we're to the upside. You know what I'm saying? Like that
Mm-hmm.
trend is over, you know? But one thing I am going to tell you this though, they do like to have little false breakouts or whatever. So sometimes they'll run this shit up like this. Soon as you get in, bam, they're running it right back down on you. Yep. And then we're shooting for that lower low. So like you got to be careful because yeah, it's just a lot of manipulation for real. All right, so basically, again, you want the candle that's outside of this level. You want a full candle outside of this level, all right? So let's look at this candle right here. This candle is a full candle and it's outside of this level, right? And so you can get in on this candle here. Let's say you're getting in right here. You can put your stop below that candle just in case you're wrong about direction and then let that go up. Here's the thing. The market rarely moves in a straight line. And so what it's going to do is you'll see like profits here. You might be up $200 here, right? But then when this candle come in, you're going to be down back to zero. You know what I'm saying? And for most people, they're like, oh, hell no, let me get out of here, right? And so you got to understand that they're going to up and down this thing. Look at, this was gold today, over here to the right. Look at how gold up and down, up and down, up and down. You know what I'm saying? You're rarely
Mm-hmm.
going to see this thing moving in a straight line for real. Like they know you're going to get scared and get the hell out of here. And that's all they're trying to do. They're trying to get you scared and get you out of there. So they'll run this shit down as far as they can and see how many people jump out. Because remember, they still need your positions. You know what I'm saying? So they'll run it up, let you be up $300 or $400, and then they'll run it back down real fast and have you at a negative 200 real fast. But basically, I'm not going to get into volume today. I think volume it's too complicated for new people for real. I think volume took me a really long time to understand. But I don't know. I'm gonna try to understand or teach y'all volume real quick just because it's really important. Volume is right here in this level right here. One thing about volume, y'all, in the market, it is the only, and I mean only with a capital O, it is the only indicator in the market that cannot be manipulated, right? You can see exactly how many people is in here. They ain't lying about that. Now, they'll lie about these candles. They'll manipulate the shit out of these candles and all of that. But when it comes to volume, they can't lie about who's in here. You know what I'm saying? And so what you want to see if you're going to take that market to the upside is you want to see volume in that market. You know what I'm saying? You want to see some buying volume in that market. If you see a whole lot of selling volume, which means these candles down here, it's a lot of selling volume right here. Notice how this volume is low, right? Right here compared to the one in front of it, right? So we got a lot of buying volume. The buying volume is yellow. The selling volume is white. And so in this candle right here, it was 24,921 contracts swapped. And this one, it was 17,947. This one right here, we got more volume, right? That candle is bigger, it's higher. It's 28,613 contracts being swapped in this candle. So when we got this big ass bullish candle right here with all this volume on it, and y'all, when I'm looking at volume, all I look at when it comes to volume is it higher than the volume in front of it? You know what I'm saying? So like, look at the candle in front of it. Is the volume that you're trying to get on, is it higher than the one in front of it? If it is, you probably got yourself a good move. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Because you can see where everybody else is with volume. It literally gives you the exact number. So when you're looking to say, all right, this candle right here, oh, and then this is something right here called a bullish engulfing. All right. Bullish engulfing candles, all that means, y'all, is that you can stick this whole candle inside of this candle. You can stick this whole candle inside of this candle. You can stick this whole candle inside of this candle. This big ass candle right here is big enough. It's literally engulfing everything in front of it. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, when you get an engulfing candle and it has volume on it like that, that big ass volume, and this volume is bigger than the one in front of it, that's a go. You know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, that is going to work out. So your entry here, again, your stop down here up under this white candle right here, just in case we're wrong about direction. Because if we're right about direction, we shouldn't even be hovering around this area. You know what I'm saying? This thing should literally continue up to the upside. And that's how we get in every single day, pretty much. So again, you got your first 5 minute candle. You want to mark that off, mark that low off, and then basically sit on those hands. That again, that is the hard part here. Another reason that, and I know Fee, you just came out of working. One of the problems that you're gonna run into quite a bit is like me, I always quit every job I had, y'all. I ain't like working since I was like old enough to work for. I ain't gonna lie. So I've never had like this, like, this real big thing on work or whatever. But I noticed that with a lot of my students, when you're used to working all the time, you have this mindset that in order for me to get paid, I got to do something. You know what I'm saying? In order for me to get
Yeah.
paid, I got to show up. In order for me to get paid, I got to actually show up and do the work. It ain't like that here. It ain't like that here, y'all. It's so opposite here that is ridiculous. And I see that it fucks with a lot of people. You got to get out of that mindset of, in order to make money, you got to be doing something, because that don't work here. Like, because if you come in with that mindset, you're gonna always have a hand on that mouse, ready to jump in and out of this thing, thinking that, oh, I gotta be doing something to make some money. No, the hell you don't. Yo, we get paid for doing nothing here. That's why it's the best job in the world. I never quit. I don't care how hard the shit get. I never quit. We get paid for doing nothing here. Like, doing nothing is what gets you paid here. So like I said, I know it's totally opposite of going to an actual brick and mortar, where you're expected to do something. It's not like that here. Here, you're expected to do absolutely nothing until you get a move. So I always say, sit on those hands. Sit on those hands. You'll always hear me say that. And the reason that I say that is because I literally sit on my hands. And that's because if you don't, your subconscious mind, it literally is strong enough to move your hand for you. So whenever that subconscious is like, oh, we going, oh, you going, you know what I'm saying? It's just a lot harder if you're sitting on those hands to get those hands from up under your bottom. You know what I'm saying? But if you're sitting there with the hand on that mouse, it's gonna be a train wreck. It's gonna be a train wreck. You got to get out of that habit of thinking that, you got to be working to make money here. I be half-ass sleep on the Zooms. I don't even be out of bed, y'all. That's why I never have my camera on. I always got a bonnet on my head. I be chilling. You know what I'm saying? I be smoking my weed, y'all. I be high as a fucking kite. Listen, I don't wish it. I just have to write everything down because I'll forget what I just said 10 minutes ago. Like, I knew that Marcus about to do that. I should have wrote this shit down. Yeah, so now I write the shit down because I know I'll be blown. But yeah, it's one of those things where you gotta chill. You gotta chill. You'll hear me Fee in the morning be like, y'all put a movie on or something, watch TV or something, because I be wanting y'all to be chill. I be wanting y'all to relax. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're sitting there like, oh, I gotta work to make money. Not here, not here. You gotta do nothing to make money here. It's so different. It's so different from like real world. The market is totally different. But yeah, basically, you're just like, all right, first candle of the day. This is our high. This is our low. I'm gonna wait on this 5 minutes. I'm gonna let this 5 minute candle develop, and I'm gonna wait. This one is outside of our zone. All right. So now we're, trying to take a look and see if we got some movement here, right? So now you can start perking up and being like, all right, what's going on? And then you're like, all right, looks like we're going to the upside, right? And then go ahead and buy here, put your stop here just in case you're wrong, and let that thing run. Like I said, that ran all day until the end of the day.
I see. You got multiple opportunities to make your money.
You do, because if you miss the up move, you can take the down move.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, because what it's gonna do is, remember, I just put that whiteboard out, y'all. So I want to show you. Now, mind you, we just did the lower low. We got a high, low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So now that we're in a new trend, all we got to do is back this up and then count that trend to the other side. And what I mean by that is this: now we have a low right here, and then we have a high right here, right, and then we have a higher low. All that means is that this high right here is higher than this high right here, right, and then we have a higher high right here, and then we got a little pullback right here for a higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and higher low. So it's just gonna keep making the same goddamn movements over and over and over. I'm telling you, once you learn how this thing move, you know where it's going. You do. The only thing that's gonna stop you is your emotions, for real. Them emotions, y'all. I ain't never seen nothing like this, and I ain't even gonna lie. I have never seen, or I'm gonna just say this: I ain't never worked with my emotions before. Most people don't know how to work with their emotions. That have zero emotional control. If that's you, you're gonna struggle here a little bit. Yeah. You gotta have a ton of emotional control. I'm telling y'all, the worst shit be happening. I'll be like, all right. People be like, damn, you don't respond to nothing. And it's like, I really can't anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, the market done took so much shit from me. I don't give a fuck about nothing no more, because I want to say I know I lost over 100,000 learning this market. I know I did. Yeah, so y'all, I'm talking about just straight devastation. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, don't nothing bother me. You know what I'm saying? I had a big ass pit bull run up on me the other day, and I was like, "What the fuck you want?" And the owner like, "Who the fuck you talking to?" I'm like, "Get your dog before I shoot his ass." You know what I'm saying? I nothing to shoot that nigga with it, nothing. But I'm like, "Get this nigga before I shoot him, y'all." And I'm terrified of dogs for real. I really am. But I'm telling you now, like the market really done got me so bold and just fearless. I'm gonna say that. I'm gonna say fearless, y'all. This shit makes you fearless because it literally takes everything from you for real. It does, and that's the hard part, and that's the part that most people can't survive. I'm not even gonna lie. Somebody asked me yesterday, one of my students, Toya, she was like, "Hey, how the hell you done survive this long? You know what I'm saying? How did you do this for this many years without crashing out?" And I'm like, "Bitch, you know how many times I done crashed out? What do you mean without crashing out? Like just because y'all don't see my crash outs don't mean they don't happen. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
they don't definitely happen. Yeah. And it's just
Mhm.
because I didn't have that mentality at first to be able to, just swipe, thousands of dollars a day out of, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't have that. I was vibrating on a very, very low, frequency before because I didn't understand frequency. I didn't understand vibrations. You know what I'm saying? Now that I do, and it's crazy because you see it like right in action. Because it's like, whenever you have a piss poor mentality and you try to go and buy that market, you about to hit that sell button. Like your brain is not gonna let you do it.
Mhm.
Yeah, it won't let you do it. So that's why I said The Mountain Is You. It's going to be the best book. Y'all get into it, read it, download it. It might be on YouTube. I know it's not on Hoopla, but I think I was telling Bernard last week. Hoopla is a library app. It's a free library app. It's HOOPLA. And if you got
Oh
a
yeah.
library, yeah, if you got a library card, it'll just let you download all those books. I know The Mountain Is You is not on there, so you'll need Audible for that one. But the other books that are on the syllabus, they're all on Hoopla. So that way you don't gotta buy those books from Audible. You can just rent them and then borrow them from the Hoopla, and then just like you're borrowing from the library for real.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. That way you don't have to spend a lot of money on Audible. But yeah, I'm telling you, it's gonna be your mindset for real. And Bernard, I know you've been working on your mindset. You said you read the Kabbalion, so I know that you're
Yep.
working on your mindset. Yeah, that's the hard part here, y'all. It is. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah, I've
Like if
been.
I didn't, huh?
Yeah, you're right. I've been doing that for years, and it's still a challenge.
Ain't it a damn challenge? You know what? And let me tell you something. I was telling my assistant yesterday. I said, "It's some bull ass shit." I said, "Let me tell you why." I said, "Because I've spent 5 years. I'm talking about y'all. When I say 5 years, ask my family. They don't see me. They be like, this bitch is bougie as hell." Now, no, I just be literally in the house just trying to get it together.
Yep.
I spent five
Mhm.
years on this mindset. Like literally, I read probably about 5 to 6 hours every single day. Like you will not ever catch me without a book playing in the background. I read all day sometimes. Yeah, I overdo it though when it comes to reading. I think I do. Like my brain don't even have time to process this shit because I read a book a day for real and go to a whole new book the
Hey,
next
let me ask you, have you read The Power Now by Edgar Tolle?
week.
Huh?
That's my fave.
Yeah, it's like a Bible for me.
It
I got it
is.
on highlighted. I read it every now and again just to freshen up and stay present. But yeah, that's one of them life-changing books right there.
Oh my God. Let me tell you something about the power of now, y'all. It is definitely it's on the syllabus. The power of now is so important because we don't realize how goddamn sleep we are. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't realize how sleep we are
Yep.
until we do something that's forcing us to wake up. This market
Mm-hmm.
is going to force you to wake the hell up. And if you're already woke, you already halfway there. It is really the hard part. Just think about it. Most people, when I say most people, I'm talking about 90, 92, 93% of people are asleep as hell. They like
Yep.
NPCs running around here. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying? Ain't got no control over nothing and don't even know it.
Yep. 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 That's true.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so the power
Yep.
now wakes you up. And it's funny with the power now though, because I remember when I first was reading it and I was like, I used to swim every day and I used to go to LA Fitness every day before I moved out of town. And I used to go to the gym and I'd be at one end of the pool and I'd be like, all right, I'm gonna stay in the now, right? All the way from this end to the other end. Shit. No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
No.
By the time I got to the middle of that pool, y'all, I'm like, oh, what am I gonna cook for dinner? And I gotta pick
Hey,
Leia up
let
from
me
school.
tell
And
you
it's like,
something,
what
man. That dealing with like ADHD is the hardest thing.
Yep.
A lot of us
Yep.
grow up with that shit,
the
don't know it till you get older. But man, that's one of the hardest things is staying in and now with
it
ADHD.
is.
Attention is never focused. It's trying to go everywhere.
Yep, yep. And that's what happens here. And but honestly, to be honest with you, so when people hear like, oh, 95% of traders lose, right? They think, oh, it's just because of the manipulation. They think it's because, oh, they're just not good in the market. Hell no. It's because they sleep. They
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and if you show up to this market sleep, I'm gonna tell you right now, they are going to run circles around you. They are. I spent probably about, it took me probably, I ain't gonna lie, it probably took me about a good 7 months to stay in and out for like 2 hours. And I was like, what is going on?
Yeah, tell you, boy.
Yep, that focus don't be there. Yep, you just don't be paying attention that it ain't there. Yep, you don't.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yep.
Sleep.
Sleep as hell. Yeah. And I was devastated, y'all. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I'm gonna tell you another thing that happened to me too once I got done with The Power of Now. And I remember when I first read that book for the first time, I was sitting out in my car and all I could say was damn. Like I said damn like 3 times. Yeah. Is the fee, have you read it? Power of Now?
Nope, I haven't read it yet.
Oh, you
I
gotta
just
read
wrote
it.
it down.
Okay, yeah, Power Now,
Yep, I
Eckhart
just
Tolle.
wrote it down.
Yeah. You can get that one off of Hoopla. I want to say that one is on Hoopla for free. And The Power Now might be on YouTube for free if I'm not mistaken. But The Power Now is definitely one of those books. And I tell my students all the time, if you don't read any other book I give you, you got to read that one. You got to read that one. You cannot skip that one.
Yeah. That's why I've been able. I guess I've been able. I'm following what you're saying on here, though. You know, I'm already. You know, like I said, I read Kabbalion about 20 years ago. So
Yeah.
I've been following, and I can see exactly what you're saying. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, no, and that's that wokeness for real. But you know what? Another thing that happened to me after I read The Power of Now, and I realized why people don't change. I slept for 2 weeks. Y'all. Like, and my boyfriend was like, "Hey, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I don't know. Like, we might go to the hospital or something." Like, y'all, I couldn't get out of bed. I couldn't trade. I couldn't do nothing. Like, my brain was so tired from that book. I was like, "Oh my God, no wonder people can't change because who really got 2 weeks to sleep for real?" You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I did, fortunately, and that's because our house was paid off and all that. You know what I'm saying? All of our cars were paid off. Yeah, we ain't had no bills. You know what I'm saying? He made 10,000 a month. Shit, we was okay, and so I was able to just sleep. And
that's amazing, man.
yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. But I was like, damn, that's why people can't change because they can't. You know, most people have to work. You know what I'm saying? Like you got these
That's what I'm
bills.
saying about like all the shit that's going on, all the crime and stuff. It's really economics, man. You know what I'm saying? If people have money, they have financial freedom. A lot of them would be busy doing other shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but waking up here is definitely the hard part. It's the hardest part of my job. I wish I didn't have to do it. And like that Saturday class that I have, y'all can come to that Saturday class. It's really like we spend the first 45 minutes just talking about the book that we're reading. And I'm telling you, when you come in there, people be like that class will make you cry for real. Just like listening to people's stories for real. Because you hear their journeys of them trying to wake up and them trying to go through this. Y'all, I ain't gonna lie. Waking up and changing that mindset, I didn't think this shit was gonna be that hard. You know what I'm saying? But it is literally the hardest work in the world.
Yeah. Well, you gotta understand your whole life you've been programmed a certain way. You know, everything is programming, whether it's good or bad, it's programming. So, you know, when you're trying to unprogram that, it's always a resistance to that.
Oh, and it just be devastating sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, who the fuck? And I was telling my sister yesterday, I was like, it don't make no sense that I've been doing this for 5 years and really, really, really working on that mindset for 5 years and still struggle with the shit. So a motherfucker that don't even spend 5 minutes on that mindset ain't got a damn shot.
Yeah, that's good. But I tell you what about a mindset like that, because a lot of people in my life be like, bro, you straight and this, that, and third. But the moment you get comfortable and you feel straight is where you're gonna start, is where you start declining. But long as you feel like you got work to do, then you're gonna continue working on yourself, you know.
Yeah. And here, y'all, you're gonna have to work on yourself here. Yep, you really are. The market is gonna force it because the market don't do nothing but put a mirror up to your ass, and then you be like, ugh, who the hell is this? You know? And y'all, and once you become aware of what you really look like on the outs or on the inside, yeah, I ain't gonna lie, I had to pick up the phone and start apologizing to motherfuckers from over the years, like,
Right.
yeah, because I had no accountability for nothing. Yep, I didn't. It was always them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got hit by my car because of you. You know what I'm? No, that was me. Yeah. So that's the main thing. Try not to make excuses, you know what I'm saying? Because everything that you do here is your fault, you know. So if you do bad here, it's your fault. If you do good here, it is your fault. So, you know, try to make sure that you're, dealing in accountability well here because the market ain't gonna let you make excuses. I'm telling you, it literally puts up a whole mirror to that ass and you be like, I don't know who this person is, but I'm gonna have to fix her because you can't even go back to regular scheduled program once you see who you really are. And not saying that I was just, horrible, but I kind of was for real. I
But
just
we
didn't
all
see the
got
shit.
demons, man. We all got demons we're trying to get rid of.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and so that be the hard part here. That's why people can't win here. Those demons, those same demons, because those
Yeah,
same demons that you can't get rid of, they got you. They in your ear, like get in, get in, get in. Screw
yeah,
that
for
strategy, just
sure,
get
for
in. You know
sure.
what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yep, yep. And you're like, all right,
Yeah,
yeah.
some people, you know what they say in the Bible, right? The
Oh
devil's a
yeah,
right. Some people think
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm telling you, I spent
that
the first. Oh, I'm sorry. I think you cutting out a little bit, Nerd.
the Bible also say you got to discern, so you just can't go with the voice of your head telling you and saying that's God.
Yeah, you ain't lying. And
That's
then you ain't
right.
lying about that programming either, y'all. We've been programmed in such a bad way. And it's crazy because like once you get to once you come out of that program, then you're like, okay. I ain't gonna lie to you. When I first woke up, I was mad as hell because I'm like, how the hell they duped
Me
me all these
too.
years? You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
me
Like,
too.
yeah, I was
Mm-hmm.
pissed.
Mm-hmm.
I was pissed. I was
Yeah,
pissed for a long time. Like, like I know good and damn well they ain't had me, just all fucked up like that out here all these years just because of this
yeah,
crazy ass programming. And yes, they did.
yeah,
They literally program us to be workers and not thinkers. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
From
Yep.
Yep.
and the
From
school
scratch. Yeah.
Yep.
school and religion. You know, people will
Religion the
give you,
worst.
yeah, religion
Yeah.
the worst. Yeah, it's worse. I swear, man. But they perverted.
Yeah.
You know, they took spirituality and made it religion. They put it in a
Yeah.
box. You know, what I'm
Uh-huh.
saying, structured it, and then yeah, it's been over since, man.
Yeah. And we sucked it all up. We ate that shit up. And but
Yeah,
we ain't had no
Yep.
choice. Everything that you've been programmed, that shit happened before the age of 7. You know what I'm
right,
saying?
exactly,
You stuck with
Mm-hmm.
it.
exactly.
Yeah. So that's the hard part here, y'all. This market, like, don't. I'm telling you right now, if you look at Facebook and you see like some trading groups or whatever, you see everybody want to talk about I don't do none of that shit. Like I said, I
Mm,
don't watch the news. You might see me every now and again because I got a trading group on Facebook, but I don't even be in there. Like somebody asked me what was the name of the other day, and I was like, and then one of my students was like, oh, and put the name out there, and I was like, well, shit, I don't be in there, and that's because I ain't fit. For one, I'm not of the world anymore. You know what I'm saying? So I don't do
mhm.
shit worldly anymore. I don't fuck with, I might smoke my weed or whatever, but when it comes to like anything going on outside of me, I feel like we have been programmed for so long with this outside shit that I don't
Right,
fuck around with it no more. Yeah, it's all
right.
inside for me.
It
Mm-hmm.
is. It really is.
Yep. And it's so peaceful, y'all. When I tell y'all I got peace like the river, I mean that shit. And I done
Mm,
had multiple people tell me that done lasted with me for like a year and a half. They'll be like, damn, I see what you're talking about now. I know that peace that you have now. Or they'll send me a
mm.
message like, oh my God, I know that peace now. Y'all, it's better than the money. It's better than the money. And it's like, I never thought I'd say that shit. I'm money hungry. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
Yeah,
for me to say that
Mm-hmm.
peace is better than the money, it is, y'all, because I promise you, dog, people can't bother you anymore. And I just don't deal with shit. You know what I'm saying? Somebody say something out the way,
Mm-hmm.
nigga say something out the way, and it's like, nigga, bye. You ain't about to see me for another 2 years. You know what I'm saying? Like,
mm,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I just don't put up with no shit no more. And I love it. I love it. And life should be this way for everybody, I
it
think. And
should.
yep.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe
But most people
it should.
yeah, most people can't wake up though, and I hate that for them. Especially my family. Like I hate going around now at this point, and that's
Oh man.
yeah, it's the only reason I hate being woke because you see everybody else sleeping shit, and you be like, God
Hmm.
damn,
It's lonely. It's
it's
lonely.
very lonely.
It's lonely. But
It's
that's
very.
prophesized too, man. Everybody ain't meant to, it's only a select few.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's why I say I want to make my whole family millionaires if I can, one way or another. Like I'm not greedy like that where I just want to hoard all the cash. Like I want to make
Yeah.
sure my people are living good and not only that, I want to pay them to maybe quit their job and actually learn something outside of, that job shit,
Yes. Yes.
reprogram them. Yeah. I
Yes.
want to pay to
Mm-hmm.
reprogram them. Mm-hmm.
That's dope.
Yeah. And so that's what I
Yep.
plan on doing with them. And I want to retire my whole family and shit. And just let people do whatever the fuck they want to do because I feel like, if I look for somebody else, my sister, none of them have been able to do this. You know what I'm saying? Like they
Yeah.
wouldn't have went through the storm like this. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you was chosen for that. Believe that.
And I hate
Mm-hmm.
that
Yep.
sometimes for real. It's like, why the fuck you choose me? I want to be, normal like everybody else and just comfortable. But
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you sleep, you're the most comfortable. So
yeah, you are. Yeah, you
Yep.
are. You are. And I see why people don't wake up for real. It's like shit. I wouldn't want to come out of that comfort zone either, but I'm
right.
already out of it now. Unfortunately, and I ain't nothing I can do about it. But I thank God every day, you know what I'm saying, for even, allowing me to see this and come
Yeah.
out of that because I remember my daughter
Mm-hmm.
had been woke for a long time and she used to try to wake me up and she's be like, Ma, the universe this and this. And I was like, girl, go on swerve that universe shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to hear that. Yeah. And so once I started trading, I realized like, hey, my brain ain't working right. What's going on with this thing? You know? And I started digging into that brain and I was like, oh shit, she was, she wasn't lying this whole time. You know what I'm saying? Trying to wake me up and I wasn't seeing it. And I realized that that's because of your reticular activating system. I'm gonna let y'all go here in a minute. I don't want to hold y'all too long, but I'm gonna tell you about the reticular activating system because it works in this trading world and it works in real life. But your reticular activating system is just your filter. It's your filter. So you ever see somebody where like I'll see people all day, every day on Facebook and be like, I don't got no money. It be my cousins. Like, I don't got no money. And then they be like, how the fuck you? All right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's like they can't see opportunity for real. You know what I'm saying? They can't. It's because they're not looking for it. And so that reticular activating system is only going to show you things that you're looking for, things that is important to you, that it feel like it's important to you. Just like when you buy a new car, when you buy a new car, as soon as you leave that lot, now you see that car everywhere. You see it everywhere yesterday. Yeah. And that's because now that car is important to you. Now the reticular activating system is showing you every instance of that car. And that's how our brain works. It's like, it's so much going on in this world that your brain really just can't process everything. You know what I'm saying? So that reticular activating system got to filter shit out to where it'll only show you shit that's important. So like if you and I go somewhere, we two different people, we walk into the same room, we're going to evaluate that room differently depending on how we are, you know what I'm saying, and the experiences we've gone through. It might be intimidating for you and it might be just what I needed, you know what I'm saying, to make a couple bucks, it depends. Right. But the reticular activating system is only going to show you things that are important. So you got to be careful with that in this market, because what'll happen is people will come in here and just want to win, right? And then the reticular activating system, that bitch will show you some shit that ain't happening. And it's like, hold on, wait a minute. Yeah, it will. It'll literally show you some shit that ain't happening. Y'all, I used to cry here every day and be like, this shit is like witchcraft. Like, why can't I see? Yeah, and I used to be as blind as Stevie Wonder in this bitch. Like, I don't know why when this market opened up, I can't see shit. You know what I'm saying? And it's because my emotions were all over the place. My reticular activating system wasn't showing me what I needed it to show me. Like, none of that shit was lining up. So I wasn't going to see success here until I fixed all of that. So it's a mental game, y'all. And we're going to be working on that mental more than anything else. So y'all make sure y'all read those books. Anthony, the book, if you're listening, is The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. It is literally gonna, like, if you need any type of therapy, which all of us do, you know what I'm saying? That's gonna be your therapy. Matter of fact, I might read it again. Yeah, Brianna Wiest, it's so good that in the middle of the book, y'all, I had to stop and see if this bitch was a psychologist because I felt like I was on her couch. I was like, what is going on here? Yeah, like what is this? And so she literally digs right in for real. Like, I'm telling you, she's gonna help you with self-sabotage, with resistance. And y'all, I ain't gonna lie, I think resistance is harder than self-sabotage here. And it's because resistance comes when it knows that you're doing something important. It knows that you're doing something that can advance your life. And then you be like, hell no, that ain't us. You know what I'm saying? And you resist the shit out of doing the right thing here. Y'all. I had people tell me over and over, like, I don't know why I won't do the right thing. And it's like, shit, I couldn't either for like 3 years. So don't trip, that resistance is real. So read The Mountain Is You by Brianna Wiest. Make sure you're understanding why you're resisting, because if you understand that you're only resisting because you're about to do something good and have a wonderful life, then that'll help you through that resistance. You know what I'm saying?
I think I'm going through that right now. I remember I told you like last week, I'm at this plateau right now where I know I could break through, and it's the next level for me because I've been here before and then did reach that next level, and I've got that same feeling and same things going on where I'm resisting myself. Just doing stuff I know I ain't got no business doing, that I know if I focus and get focused, I'll reach that next level. Like for a fact, without a doubt, I know what the outcome will be, but it's still hard doing that part. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy.
Yep, I'm already knowing. Yeah, that resistance is something else. I remember I kept saying in this market when I was losing all the time, I kept hearing people say, oh, you need to write your trades down. You need to evaluate every single trade. You need to see why you're winning. You need to see why you're losing, because if not, then you're just not going to see this stuff. And I never really believed that 100%. So like I would just go on month after month after month, still losing, still hearing people say, you need a journal. You need to write this shit down. You need to write these trades down. You need to evaluate. And I'm like, I need to evaluate shit. And so I would be in a dollar store and walk right past the journals, walk right past all that shit. And I'm talking about for months. And then I watched the interview after about 8 months. And when I say 8 months, I mean 8 months for real. I spent 8 months not writing shit down just because the other resistance. And I heard a lady say on an interview, she was like, this guy was like, why do people lose in the market so much? And she was like, for one, they losing because they don't want to write them trades down. They don't want to evaluate what they're doing because they're losing. And the brain don't want to revisit that. And I was like, oh my God, yeah. And so I'm sitting here like, oh my God. So for 8 months, I'm sitting here, just resisting because I'm losing and my brain just doesn't want to revisit it. And so for that reason, it's just going to keep me, away from doing the right thing. Y'all, I jumped straight up, went to the dollar store and grabbed me a goddamn journal. And do you know that same week, my win rate ended up soaring like by 40%. I went from probably y'all having like a 16% win rate to like over a 50%.
Damn.
Yeah. And I was like, for 8 motherfucking months for real. I was mad as hell. Like, you mean to tell
Wasted
me
8 months.
8 months? And I could have just started, you know what I'm saying? Like 3 months in. So don't be me. You know what I'm saying? You have to write these trades down. If you do not, and when I say write your trades down, what I mean is write down where you got in at, write down where you got out at, write down why you got in, write down how you were feeling when you got in, because that's really important too. Were you anxious? Were you nervous? Were you any of that? Because you really need to know what type of state of mind you're in here, because you're literally the captain of your own ship. Nobody else is making any decisions for you. So you got to know what your state of mind is. So write down your state of mind. So for me, if I were to get in right here, right? So I'm like, all right, I entered here and then stop loss right here, right? So I'm gonna be like, all right, my entry, this is what I write in my journal. Entry is at 68.08. Stop is at 67.93. Target was at 68.45, made $1,700. I felt great. You know what I'm saying? And so that's just like literally that's all I needed to do to be able to see some winners here. And I was like, I know they fucking lying. So yeah, make sure you're writing that stuff down, because once you can see it like in writing on paper, then it's real. Other than that, y'all, it ain't real. Don't think for 1 minute. I had a student of mine. He went to Kettering with his feet. Omar, you probably know Omar Sly.
Omar. I know Omar.
His wife called me like, I don't know how to get him to write this shit down. I was like, oh shit. And I was like, shit, I don't know how to get him to do it either then. You know what I'm saying? Because he just ain't gonna do it until he wanna do it. Yeah. And it's just that resistance for real. And I see it in everybody. Everybody is the same here. We are not that different for real. We not, none of us are. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah,
Well, send me that syllabus again. I think I remember now. I think I do remember seeing the syllabus. I thought you said a book itself, but it's the syllabus. But just in case, send it to me again. That way, for sure, I have it.
All right. And then Fee, I know you got it in that digital course, but I'm gonna send it to you too. So you'll have that syllabus. Anthony, I'll send it to you too. I got your email. But yeah, those books are super, super important. Yeah, I promise you, they're gonna account for 80% of whether you can do this or not. It is. That other 10, 20, don't worry about that shit. I ain't lying, don't worry about it. Most people are worried about these charts. Oh, the chart this, and you gotta watch the news. Like, fuck that news. I ain't watched the news in 5 years. And I come in here and win almost every day of the week for real. So nah, that news shit ain't real. You know what I'm saying? People chasing that news because they want that certainty, and you ain't gonna never get the certainty from the market. Yeah, and I'm gonna send y'all this recording, so y'all can go over it just in case you want to. And then I will see y'all in the morning. Fee, I'll see you in the morning. Nard, I'll see you in the next week. Anthony, I think you're coming on Friday. I'll see you on Friday. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. I'm gonna go find me some dinner.
All right.
All right, you do the same. All right.
Thanks. See y'all.
Bye.
Yeah. Bye bye.